So, it was long overdue, but it's time to answer humanity's most important question: how to make coffee with Airtable using automation. Now, the most important piece of this project is this, the SwitchBot bot. This tiny little device is just perfect for appliances that have some kind of physical button, but they don't necessarily have any Wi-Fi. SwitchBot does a bunch of different other devices, but I think this one is the most interesting because it's like perfect for little light switches, air conditioners, TVs, coffee machines, you name it. So let's see how we can do this. So we're going to start things off as we usually do with a very quick demo. As you can see, I've got a very simple Airtable database, and all I have to do is just press generate coffee, and after a few seconds, I will get coffee. Now, there's a few tips that I would like you to know first, so let's get on with it. So, tip number 1. Other than the small little bots, you will also need to procure a hub. They are fairly inexpensive, but in order to control these devices remotely, like via API, you need a hub. So get a hub along with a bot. Tip number 2. In some cases, like this coffee machine, you might need to make the physical touch points larger or smaller. In this case, I actually had to steal some small pads from a device that I had lying around in order to make the button a little bit taller. I've shot some B-roll, so hopefully you should see what that looks like and why it was needed. So those were my couple of tips for you. Now, let's get started with the actual automation. So, if you've seen our channel before, you pretty much know where this is going. We first and foremost need to create a scenario in Make, and I'm going to take you through the whole thing. But yeah, if you haven't signed up for make.com before, go ahead and check the description. There is a little affiliate link. It will help the channel out a lot. If you do use that link, you'll get a free month of Make Pro account for using it. So first and foremost, create a new scenario. And as I've done here, we need to jump and create a new custom webhook. Just copy this address to clipboard, and then we need to jump into automations. And as you can see, I've already created one. And the trigger here is when generate coffee is checked. Choose a record, that's completely fine. But as soon as you're done with that, run a script. And we use exactly the same script here. Typically, it's the same thing as we usually use, and all you have to do is just change this webhook to the one that your scenario has generated. Don't forget to add a new input variable, and it should look exactly like this. Don't forget to map the value by pressing this little blue button and mapping this Airtable record ID in there. As soon as it all looks somewhat like this, with the exception of your pasted webhook, finish editing, make sure that it's turned on, and that's it. You've basically done the first bit, which is to trigger the automation, which is fantastic. Give yourself a pat on the back. Now, from there, what we need to do is we need to actually get that record. Do we really need to? Well, we kind of need to, but anyway, it's just force of habit for me by now. I'm just simply getting this record for no apparent reason. And from there, what we need to do is we need to actually set our tokens because the authentication for SwitchBot API is kind of funky. But I'm going to take you through this. It took me hours to figure this out. So yeah, let's take a look at how this needs to be set up. First and foremost, you need a UUID, which is a simple UUID value that you can get from Make. I think you can get it from here. There you go, this thing. Then we need a time variable name. Just print timestamp times 1000. If you need to fetch a timestamp, you can fetch it from here. Then you need a variable called token, is the token that you fetch from your SwitchBot app. I'm going to show you where to fetch that. And of course, the secret is the secret that you also fetch from your SwitchBot app. So now I'm going to show you how to fetch those tokens and like keys from your SwitchBot app. I am right now inside of my SwitchBot app. All I have to do is just press on Profile, then Preferences, then the developer options, and immediately you'll see how you get those tokens and secret keys all showing up right here. Just make sure that you copy these and paste them inside of the little variable module that we were looking at earlier. Now from there, what we need to do is we need to set yet another variable. I'm just using the multiple variables module here, but I'm really setting up one variable called data. And the data looks like this. We've got token, time, UUID. From there, we have convert the encoding of a text. This is a very rare module, but in this case, we are using it. So we take the input data and put it in here. From there, we just choose Unicode UTF-8 from all the different options that we get here. From there, the next step is to actually create a variable called sign. And this is what it basically looks like. Just make sure that you copy the same thing, just like I have done here, if you're attempting this. Now, from there, we need to create a quick little HTTP request to actually fetch all of our devices. And it couldn't be easier. Just create a new HTTP request. This is the URL. Method is get. Authorization, you put your token in. Sign, you put your sign in. Nonce, you put your UUID in, and T, you put your time in. Of course, don't forget to choose the yes option at parse response. Yeah, this is what it looks like. You basically get a list of devices, and this is all well and good. And the first device here is the coffee bot, this thing. So now the next step is basically to get the device ID, as we saw here, body, device list, and copy the device ID. And create a copy, I would say, a copy of this particular HTTP, because we're going to reuse a lot of the stuff within here, mainly the authorization stuff. So create a copy, paste it in, and all we need to change here is the URL. Instead of devices, we need to actually expand this and add a /, the device ID that we just pasted, and then / commands. The method also changes. It's not get anymore, it's post. The rest of the stuff actually remains exactly the same. And the next thing that changes here is that the body type needs to be set to raw, content type JSON. And we also need to write this quick little JSON, it's not even a script, it's just a bit of text, where we have the command, which is if generate coffee is true, turn on. If it's not, turn off. The parameter is set to default. Now, depending on your device, you will have different sets of commands, but for this little boy, it's just a binary on and off, or it can like stay on and then stay off. You get the point. So yeah, that's basically it. That's how the whole thing works. Simple as that. That's it from me, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this quick little fun automation. Of course, I call it fun, but somebody might really need this. I don't know. To me, this is just pure fun. And you can control so many other devices like curtain rollers, air cons, old TVs, coffee machines. Like, it's so cool, right? Let me know down in the comments below if you've enjoyed this and if you would like me to do more of this kind of content. Would be really happy to hear your feedback. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.